Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing tonight? My name is Matt Jarbo. Welcome to Hollywood After Dark's nearly midnight movie chat. It's about 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm in Olympia, Washington, and it's hot as absolute shit. So if you hear a fan going, I don't care because I can't do this otherwise. That's why I'm not on camera, because I'm not wearing a shirt. I don't want you seeing that. It's too much goodness and hotness for modern world to take in. All that pasty Twilight vampire skin and matted chest hair from the sweat. You guys don't want to see it, so I don't want to be on camera. There we go. That's the reason why. It's not that I have body issues or, like confidence issues or whatnot. It has everything to do with it being hot. You hear a fan? Yeah, I don't care, Cody. That's fine. I tried turning it down. Let me see. I might be able to do something about this here. Let me go to the audio. There we go. All right. I disabled audio processing. Maybe that will be a bit better. Now I hear it. Now I hear it myself. I wasn't hearing it before. Son of a bitch. You know what? If it gets to be too bad, tell me. I'll turn it up and in the process. And y'all can kiss my ass. I'm doing this thing. There we go. Let's see here. Cody says, I'm going to coom if you keep talking about sweat. Ooh, yeah. That's what we like here on Hollywood After Dark. People to coom. Come for the show, coom, because I talk about my sweaty man chest while talking about movies, because that's what I do. Today's been a day. It's been a fun day, actually. It's been a lot of interesting things going on. I was really surprised at the Grace Randolph interview with Zack Snyder. I did a video on it, and some guy is trying to challenge me on what I said on Twitter right now, which is pretty funny. He's like, you fucked it up. You fucked up your commentary. You got it all wrong. There's no way that Zack Snyder's Justice League can fit into the continuity of the DCEU where it's at right now. And it's like, no, it really can. Pretty much can, considering what we have. We know that the ending of Aquaman's role in what Zack had originally shot was Aquaman getting in the back of a truck and going to see his dad. And then the start of Aquaman with the fucking submarine is something he encounters on the way to go see his dad. So it's that's been out there. I don't know. I'll tell you this: as much as I love a lot of the Snyder Cut people, there are a few that that just really try my patience, and it's funny because it's especially when you talk about the scooping side of it. When you get into the scoopster side of things, that's when the shit gets crazy. So when you get into the scooping, almost fucking weird. My microphone's all bing, but there's a lot of issues with scoopsters right now. A lot of infighting with them, and it's funny to me because it's never for the right fucking reason. So take Jeremy Conrad, for example. There's all these threads on Reddit about him, stuff he's made up or whatever. He gets, he took a scoop from We Got This Covered the other day, apparently, and put it out there. Then I come to find out he's over on the NeoGAF forums, effectively with pro-Trump talking points, which would not go over well with the audience he has accumulated on Twitter. But he uses the same goddamn name, so it's you can find it. Daniel Richtman tried to blackmail me. He's stolen scoops before. It's funny to me how there's this massive fight going on. It's no, my scoopster's better than your scoopster. My scoopster's better than yours. That's what's happening here, guys. It's annoying. It makes it so it really does make some right now, given, and this is tying into the whole situation involving fucking Tenet being delayed indefinitely. And obviously that's going to lead into Wonder Woman being delayed indefinitely, then Dune being delayed indefinitely. And that's what I was saying the other day. That's what I was saying the other day. It's we fucked up bad in this country. If you are a movie fan and you are upset that you cannot go see movies, you have no one else to blame but our federal government. And that is just true. That is true. And also selfishness of people who won't understand that if you just wear a mask and practice social distancing when you go out, it curves a lot of shit. It does. It really does. Just wear the fucking mask. That's my PSA for the night, by the way. Just wear the mask. However, no, it's true. If you want to go see these movies, we could have probably done it if everyone would have band together, social social distanced and not gone to the beach or these gatherings or these protests, you know. I mean, I understand the protests. I understand why they're happening. But it's not, in that regard, it's not helping. So I don't want to get too political. This isn't really the place for that. But, you know, it feels like it's all tied together at this point. It feels like it's all tied together. Anyway, let's take a look here. True31, what's up, man? How you doing? Hey, Jarbo, hope you're having a good night. I'm wondering where you would like to see the Superman franchise go after the Snyder Cut. Dude, fucking literally anywhere. Literally anywhere. Just give me more Cavill as Superman. That's what I want. You know, like, I don't give a shit if they go back into, like, the old script, you know, that Kevin Smith wrote for, or was, you know, what that he wrote for Superman back in the day, and the guy was like Giant Spider. Like, give me that movie with just Henry Cavill as Superman. I'd be very happy with that. I'd be very happy with that. Because at that point, we would get, I think, a lot of fun shit. I just want, like, another, like, this is going to sound weird, okay? And it's sound really weird. What I want is effectively Henry Cavill to remake Superman Returns, okay? But not like not point for point, but like the world of Superman Returns. It's a world without Superman that he then returns to and ends up becoming Superman again. You know, he becomes the hero again. Like, so if you go back and you watch Superman Returns, which I would recommend you do because it's actually a pretty good fucking movie. It just took a few years for us to kind of get it, I think. You know, you like, it's just, I want to see Cavill have an adventure that's not tied into something that's like as grandiose as Darkseid. And I'm not saying like, I don't know, for someone to say, oh, but Matt doesn't want Darkseid. No. Matt wants Euxis. Matt wants Darkseid. Matt wants Steppenwolf to look like Steppenwolf from BVS, not whatever the fuck that thing was from Justice League. All right. But like, I want Cavill to have, you know, to go up against Brainiac, or to go up against like another good villain, you know, like to actually have like a Lex Luthor now, like we saw him at the end of Justice League, and now that he's out and he's full on Luthor, like that's what I want to see. But I really just want to see Henry Cavill come back, that above all else, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want. Joey here says, what you think about Robert My Burnett saying movies coming out in other countries first before the U.S.? I think it's, I think people have been talking about it today. I think it is the stupidest fucking thing that Hollywood could do, but I don't think that they're dumb enough to realize that, or they're smart enough to realize that. Let me explain why. So, you know why they release international movies first, right? It's a very simple process. It's piracy. They're afraid that if they release movies at the same time or release them in the States early, a lot of these big blockbusters, that movie pirates are going to get their hands on it here in the States, and they're going to distribute it over the internet, and that's going to cut into the international dollar, the box office. And that, of course, is, you know, it's not as big as domestic. But they don't want to lose that dollar. They don't want to lose that money. Well, the problem here is that if you flip the script and you release it internationally without putting it in the United States, people in the United States are pretty tech savvy. People are going to pirate the hell out of these movies. They are, you know, and they know this. Like, and I'll be honest with you guys, I will watch them. I'm not going to lie. I'm, you know, because they always get uploaded to some website, you can go and stream it and shit. Right? Like, if Tenet gets released in China, like a 2-hour cut of Tenet gets released in China because China's all upset at, like, you know, an extra half hour of fucking screen time, and then there's a bootleg copy that pops up, I will watch it. I will review it. I will be very adamantly open about how I saw it and my review of the content. And I'll tell you why. It's because it is a slap in the face, in my opinion. I understand these companies have to make money. I get that. They've got enough in the back catalog to be able to re-release older films. Whatever they've got in the pipeline for 4K restorations and shit, bring back some of those, you know, and then be that as the start. But let's be fair. What's the biggest market outside of the United States? It's fucking China. China's shutting down their theaters, right? The only reason why Hollywood is bringing up this concept where they're toying with the idea of going in and like, oh, we could release Tenet overseas, and then, you know, but no, it's because South Korea had a good weekend with Train to Busan Peninsula, or Peninsula Train, whatever the hell it was called. It had a good weekend with that. But then again, South Korea, which Seoul, South Korea, by the way, and this is I'm going back to COVID here. It's going to get slightly political for a hot second. They've got 25 million people in that city. And they've basically been able to get this shit under control because they caught it early. We fucked it up here. I just want to, again, reiterate that point. We fucked it up here. They didn't fuck it up. And in a city of 25 million people, they were able to get that shit under control. LA, New York, Florida, Seattle, fuck, dude. It's nuts. Anyway, rant on that part over. But if they start releasing these movies overseas early, I will watch them. I will make no qualms about that. I will not sit there and play that coy card of, well, I mean, like, I could just wait to go. Fuck that. Fuck that. And here's the thing. So many other people are going to want to watch it too, that they're going to pirate it, which means when it finally does come to the States, which is the largest demographic, right? The internet, the domestic box office is the metric Hollywood still equates by. All right. They may want that Chinese dollar because they do, but the Chinese government takes a lot of that coin on the back end. There's just 1.6 billion people in China, so the amount of money that could potentially be earned is pretty damn high. But they still want the domestic box office take home because that is where they get the highest percentage. So that is what they want. And if they fuck with that, if they actually legitimately fuck with that, then that is going to end up biting them in the ass harder and more worse than anything else. Because people will just start openly talking about it. And they already do. You already can tell. It's not hard to tell, like who pirates shit, right? Like, look at I'll be fair. Look at the fandom menace when it comes to fucking Star Trek Discovery. They hate Star Trek Discovery. They bitch about it constantly. Not one of them has illegal access to CBS All Access. You know what I mean? They all get it illegally because they're like, I'm not going to pay for that shit. But the people that pay for it are the ones that, you know what? They're the ones watching the direction that it's going. So they're the ones that are actually like, the reason why it's still going the direction that it's going. You know what I mean? Money does influence, not just whining and being Karens on Twitter. All right. So there's that. Anyway, so that's my thing. If they start doing that, I will see at that point no reason to support the system. It's not that I would take pleasure in it. It's not that I would sit there. I mean, I would probably buy the movies eventually, just as I would feel guilty. And I don't want people to work to not get paid to work more. But it's true. This is the thing. This is the reality we live in. If you fuck with people seeing movies, if you release it overseas without, Americans feel entitled to that shit. This is an American industry. We're getting fucked over. America. This is probably me at like my most patriotic, and it's about entertainment, which is so sad if you think about it, but still. Look, I just want everyone to be safe and to go see movies. All right? Like, that's what I want. Like, I'll go sit there and I'll wear a mask. I'll just get a drink, put my straw in it, lift it up, take a sip of water, put my cup back down, and then watch Tenet and be happy. Don't they want me to be happy? I will spend money if I'm fucking happy. If I'm unhappy, I don't have a reason to spend money. And that's a consumer I will vote with my... I've never openly advocated for piracy before, by the way. So I feel very weird in that rant, which is mostly meant to be comedic, but it seems weird to say. Anyway, Alvi here says New Mutants has a panel for Thursday VOD drop. Maybe, man, maybe. At this point, they might just do it. They might just drop it on Disney Plus. And they've been testing the waters with the PG-13 X-Men films, right? They're dropping all the X-Men films right now because they want the Disney Plus people to be caught up on what X-Men is. All the normies that aren't like us, huge comic book movie nerds. They want them to watch Apocalypse and go, that was a good movie. No. No one can say that Apocalypse was a good fucking movie because it wasn't. All right. Skywalker Brian says, I got a bickering BS DM debate over Snyder fan today, and he wouldn't believe me that there wouldn't be any additional FX, and I said it would be lazy instead of be lazy editing. Hold on. He didn't believe you that there wouldn't be any additional FX. Well, there is additional FX, so I don't know what we're talking about there, Brian. Let's see. Regal is still claiming that July 31st and Unhinged will open. Yeah. I want to see that Russell Crowe movie though. So there's that. Jimmy Carter asks, speaking of political, did you hear about the death of Michael Brooks? I did. I was saddened to learn about Michael Brooks's passing. It was a sudden medical thing. It's tragic. I am personally not a fan. I didn't find his commentary to be productive. I found it to be reductive. I didn't quite like his personality. That's a fair amount of it. But I mean, he clearly left a large impact on the progressive movement, and people are very saddened, and I am saddened for his friends and his family. There's that. Let's see here. Kevin Smith, you'd love to see doing a DC movie. Well, okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. I don't want Kevin Smith to do a DC film, to direct a DC film. I want Kevin Smith to fucking write a DC film. Okay? I want Kevin Smith to write a Green Arrow. I want Kevin Smith to write a Batman. I want Kevin Smith to write something, because I think in that regard, he would be able to do it better. Kind of like Tarantino sold off True Romance. I think Tony Scott directed that one, but it's like before doing Reservoir Dogs. I just feel Smith is not, and this dude, and I say this, and this is going to sound super critical, but keep in mind that when I talk about Kevin Smith, he's a personal hero of mine. Like, if there's anyone in Hollywood that is working today that I would sit there and I would look at as being a personal hero, like my number one, it would be Kevin Smith. I am truly enamored by that man and what he's accomplished in his life, and I look up to him in way more ways than I probably ever should. But at the same time, his talent lies in his ability to tell a story. But, and he's a better director now than he was a number of years ago. But when it comes to the nuance that I think we would be used to in seeing some of these things, I mean, I don't think, like, David F. Sandberg did a great job with Shazam. I don't think Kevin Smith could do Shazam the same way David Sandberg did. I think it would be funny, but it would be very simply filmed. You know what I mean? Like, Kevin relies more on the character and the dialogue versus the action. And I think we've seen that enough with his films to where he has trouble melding the two. So like, if he were to write the movie and like Zack Snyder were to direct the movie, that'd be fucking wicked. Because I think Kevin could envision it in this super comic book like way, because that's the way his mind works. I think he could do that. And then from there, Snyder could put it on screen. You know what I mean? And like Snyder and Larry Fong could work together to put it on. I think that would be great. Let's see here. WB better come to HBO Max with Amazon Fire before the Snyder Cut. I think it will, Joey. I think it will. I really do think that it will, because they have no choice. Let's see here. John says China is a huge source of piracy. Yeah, it's very huge. Let's see here. When will we see Blu-rays again? Are you talking about when will we see Blu-ray therapy again, or when will Blu-rays come back out? Blu-rays are still coming out, but it is slowing down. Do I think Wonder Woman 84 will be delayed? Yes, I do. I think it's going to be delayed to 2021. I said that last week. I stand by that. I very much stand by that. Gridana, hey, what's up? How you doing? Let's see here. Okay. You think every movie will be pushed will be delayed as a result of Tenet? Okay. This is where fucking horror movies, man, need to like get their shit together. So let me explain why. Horror movies, I have frequently said, would be like the rebirth of cinema. And I say this because they would be. Horror movies traditionally lower budgets. They don't need as much marketing. People still love to go and try to be scared, so they go out to go see them. They're aimed generally at the teenager demographic, which is still, to this day, the largest spending demographic that's out there. And they go see these movies. People like to be scared. It makes them feel alive. So if horror movies were like to be the first, like the canary in the coal mine for going into theaters, I think a lot of people would get a kick out of it. I think a lot of people would really like it. Let's see here. Should we be watching movies co-funded by China? When do we take a stand against their atrocities? I agree. That's a tough thing, man. That's a very tough thing. It's China has done, especially this whole Hong Kong situation is pretty terrible. But yeah, like every time I see Tencent's name attached to something, I'm just like, oh God, I don't want to give Tencent any bit of my money. So I don't want to give any bit of that in there. Okay, but what the hell is going on with Peacock and removing their films like Jurassic Park, the Netflix, and Fast and Furious being pulled in less than 24 hours? This is the problem with these mega companies that sell off the rights, because they were never expecting to get into the streaming game. So they just licensed out these properties. Look at the fact that Lucas licensed out Star Wars to TBS and TNT. I think it was TBS to like 2025 or something along those lines. For like, I think it was like $275 million. It might've been 2022, but it was like $275 million that they paid to get the rights to Star Wars. And then Disney had to go in there and get those movies back for Disney Plus. We don't even know the details of that deal because nothing ever was said about that. But that is what happened. You know. Let's see here. If Collider Movie Talk was still going, you think they should hire Max? That'd be something. That'd be something, yeah. Let's see here. Kyle says Superman Returns is such a great movie with a perfect Lex Luthor and a great, yeah. I mean, Kevin Spacey does a good job playing the villain. Let's see here. JJ says, I think Tenet should come out July 16, 2021. At this point, it probably will. What do I think about Zach's special announcement will be at Justice Con? So yeah, what I think Zach's going to do for Justice Con is, I think he's going to show off. People are maybe anticipating like a trailer. That's going to be for DC fandom. I think he's going to showcase maybe like, something that was like already out there, you know, like something that was already known within like the Snyder Cut community and like that other people can check out. So what I think is that they're going to show something maybe like, an animatic or a storyboard scene or something, a sequence that was shot, but there's like, you know, there's no green screen there, just to kind of give people an idea. Or maybe something Zach had put out on Vero, or it could be a teaser, another teaser. It could be anything. I don't know, but I don't think it's going to be a full trailer. That's coming for DC fandom. If they did it at Justice Con, that to me would make very little sense because DC is pulling out all the stops for DC fandom, and that's going to be their big thing. Have I caught Harriet yet on HBO? I have not, but I saw your commentary on the Discord. Let's see. Joey here says, I heard Tenet might tie into Inception. That'd be pretty cool. JJ then asks the exact same question. If it happens, I would be okay with that. I think that'd be kind of interesting. I was actually really hoping that they were going to put, I was like put Inception back in theaters for its 10th anniversary because I really want to go see it again. Should you get a Roku or a Fire Stick? I probably would say I like Roku personally, but you could probably just do whatever. Let's see here. Over under 30% Mulan is put on Disney Plus. Under. Mulan is a movie that they want to release in the Middle Kingdom like crazy. It was built, it was designed, it was made for the Middle Kingdom. 100%. They don't want to fuck with that. They want that money. The Mulan, Black Widow, fucking, you know, whatever, man. These are $1 billion movies. Disney needs the money. They're going to hold off. And this is the thing, is like they have enough in reserves to last for a while. If the parks are running, they can always pull from their back catalog. Disney is great. Disney and Nintendo are fantastic for selling you shit you already own, which is true. So they could just do that. You know, they're not going to go push the things on VOD. I think people really want to push that idea for some fucking reason. Anyway, will Daredevil Con actually save Daredevil? Will Marvel say anything even though they're not at Comic-Con this year? I don't know what Save Daredevil Con is going to do, but I'm anxious and curious to find out. Those guys have put together a really slick campaign, and they say they're not corporate backed, right? I've kind of asked them if they've been corporate backed, or if there's some kind of money injection, like who's funding you, sort of thing. And they've denied anything like that. They've denied it to me. But I haven't heard anything out of them in a while. But I think the Snyder Cut situation has made them, like, invigorated them to really kind of find a way to make it work. Let's see here. Have I seen Close Enough yet? No, I haven't, Brandon, but I'll check it out tonight. I was gonna, after I'm done with the stream in about probably 20 minutes or so, I'm gonna go play some Ghost of Tsushima for a while, and then I'm gonna watch I'll Be Gone in the Dark, the next episode of that documentary, which is awesome, and then I'll probably watch Close Enough and go to bed. Do I think the Game of Thrones prequel series will be released around Amazon Lord of the Rings series? Hard to say because of the beer virus. Well, the thing is, the Game of Thrones prequel series is casting right now. So they're probably nowhere near actual production, or at least for a pilot and at least a series order. Lord of the Rings is balls deep in filming. So no, I think the Lord of the Rings series is going to come out first. Thoughts on the rhetoric in media? It needs to tone the fuck down. On all sides, it needs to tone down. CNN is the worst, though. Everything is breaking news. You know, it's like, breaking news. Hi, I'm Wolf Blitzer, and I stubbed my toe last night. That's it, folks. I stubbed my toe. Back to you, Jake Tapper. Like, that is how they do shit. Did you hear that Disney took off the free trial? Disney Plus, took off the free trial when Hamilton came out. That makes sense. They dropped like $70 million for Hamilton. They did. They spent like $70 million for Hamilton for the theatrical rights. And then like, but it's not coming until the end of 2021. And then like they put it on Disney Plus. I still haven't watched it. My dad was like, "Have you watched Hamlet?" I'm like, "No." I was on Disney Plus this morning, and I'm all like, "Do I watch Hamlet or do I watch Fancy Nancy?" Because my daughter is 2, and she wants to watch a cartoon about a pretentious Frenchophile that's like an 8-year-old or something like that. Which I will fully admit, it's actually a really cute show, and I kind of enjoy watching it because it's just harmless. But yeah, it's hard for me to like. I want to watch like Star Wars, and my kid's like, "No," because she doesn't understand it. She wants to see, you know, bright, colorful stuff, not Jedi fighting Sith and everything else. Do I think Black Widow will be delayed? Yes, I think if Tenet's delayed, Black Widow will be delayed. Am I excited for the Xbox event on Thursday? Yeah, I am. I want to see what they're going to be doing with the Xbox Series X. I hope it's better than the Sony one for the PS5, because the Sony one I was like bored to tears with. I started falling asleep during it. Do I think they may split Tenet? Maybe Nolan will add some things to get to the 3-hour cut with part 1 and then part 2 to get into China. I don't know, but that's an interesting concept. Has Nolan done a director's cut of anything? I could see that happening with Snyder, because he works in the long form. When is The Lord of the Rings coming out? Sometime in 2021. What is my favorite movie? My favorite movie is Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's in my mind the best movie ever made. It's so much fun. I should say it's just my personal favorite. Is it like the best made movie ever? No. But I think peak Spielberg. I think that was peak Spielberg, and you're never going to get past that. I mean, Last Crusade comes close because I love Last Crusade, but I really think that when it comes to like Lucas collaboration and Lawrence Kasdan and Frank Marshall and, even Kathleen Kennedy, who was a production assistant or his personal assistant on that movie, there's some good shit there. Let's see. Who do I enjoy more as a filmmaker, James L. Brooks or Woody Allen? James L. Brooks, man. I can't get into a Woody Allen movie. I'm not from New York, and I'm not Jewish. And I'm not whatever, his movies are like, I appreciate that he plays up the sexual comedy like he does, but knowing his play, but when you apply it to the urban legends surrounding Woody Allen, it comes across as kind of creepy. It does. It comes across as kind of creepy. I've just never been able to get into a Woody Allen movie. They just don't interest me. But James L. Brooks, I think, does better comedies. Do I think Nolan would be a good director for a 007 movie? I do. I really, really, really do. Let's see here. They're doing a Tom and Jerry live action film, and they put out a new logo for it. And it shows off Tom and Jerry like Who Framed Roger. Really? Can you send that to me on Twitter? That'd be pretty good. Let's see. Oh, wait, what about Harloff here? Who do you think is the most personal? Who had the most personality of Collider? For you, it was Harloff. I mean, Harloff has got personality, but he's also like that. He's like that kind of like, yo, I'm Christian Harloff. Like I'm kind of a dick, but like I sit there with my hat on, you can't see my eyes, and I bitch about not getting the Galaxy's Edge. Yeah, he probably has the best personality coming out of the Roxy Stiers. I just don't like her. Let's see here. Studios should test the theatrical waters by releasing A Quiet Place 2. Does anyone remember A Quiet Place 2? You just remembered it was the thing. I know people who have seen A Quiet Place 2 because it was so close to coming out before the shutdown, they did an early screening. So, so the people have seen it and they really liked it. But yeah, that's a good point. It's horror. It's a horror movie for one. And people really like the first movie. And the first movie is on Hulu. I haven't seen the first movie. So like there's that. But if they put A Quiet Place 2 in theaters, I would watch A Quiet Place and go see it. And I would. Safety here says Close Enough is such a satisfying watch. It hurts so much when you get to the last episode, knowing you have to wait a year for more. Yeah, I feel the same way about F is for Family because that runs on about an 18-month cycle. So it's like a lot of waiting, and then I devour it like in one go because I'm a moron. What are my thoughts on Silk being in Spider-Verse 2? I mean, I'm not against it. It's such a weird thing because I don't like the concept of like multiverses cinematically, but I loved Into the Spider-Verse and I can't wait for more. I don't know what that says about me. Maybe it's because Into the Spider-Verse started with the multiverse and it doesn't feel like a tacked on thing because it's animated and it's something totally different. So there's that. But like when I look at the concept of the DCEU and doing multiverse, I roll my eyes, I groan, and I just want to keel over and die. I don't like it. Let's see here. Nolan doesn't do director's cut. He doesn't even release deleted scenes. Yeah, he's a perfectionist, man. He's a perfectionist. Let's see. I'm not sure if Sonic in China will pull the same numbers on July 31st as much as Zootopia and Big Hero 6 back then. Yeah, I heard that they were releasing Zootopia and Big Hero 6 again. And the thing is, I love Zootopia. Like, I watch that movie at least once a week with my kids. I fucking love that movie. To me, that movie, if that movie could easily be an R-rated, hard R-rated movie, and it would still have the same message and convey the same emotions and feelings. This is the thing. Look at The Incredibles, right? The Incredibles is just the Fantastic Four, but in the world of Watchmen. It really is. Zootopia is a movie that is anti-racist, pro-inclusion, also pro-police, and they weave it beautifully inside of this really interesting kind of like whodunit, or this interesting mystery, and the characters are really good, and Jason Bateman is awesome, and Jennifer Goodwin is great. And I really love like J.K. Simmons and Jenny Slate and, Alan Tudyk, and just like, I watched that movie. Idris Elba, Christ's sake, I've watched it a bunch. I love Zootopia. Let's see here. I haven't seen The Old Guard yet. I know I'm behind. I need to watch it. I need to check it out. I do hear it's really good. Let's see here. Harmony Gold can rot in hell for actively blocking the legal importation of any of the Macross anime. I don't know who Harmony Gold is. I know who Harmony Korine is, and that's entirely different, but yeah. Well, that's lame to block the Macross anime. That's stupid. Let's see. Life in a Day is July 25th, 2020 with Ridley Scott. Self-cam yourself on that day and you get to submit. They've done that before, though. They've done that before. It's like, just self-cam yourself. Like, what am I going to do? I'm stuck at home with my 2 kids and I watch Disney Plus. You're going to look at me and think, here's a guy who wants to die. Like Life in a Day of Matt Jarbo just sitting there with like a bottle of whiskey and a gun. Something bad's going to happen. And then you just cut to black, like the end of fucking Sopranos. What happened? What'd he do? Got to tune in next year to find out. Anyway, let's see. Did I know that there's a Clifford live action? Yes. I've seen some of the behind the scenes. I've seen some of the shots, promotional photos. No, thank you. Let's see. Independence Day is one of the greatest summer blockbuster movies ever. Do I agree? Absolutely. I remember when that came out, I was 14 and my family was like, we're going to go camping. And I'm all like, nah, I don't want to go camping. I want to go see Independence Day. And they're like, we're going to go camping and you have to go with us because you're 14. I'm like, I don't want to go camping. I want to go see Independence Day. So let me make you guys a deal. While you're getting prepped to go, let me ride my bike to the theater. Let me watch the first showing of the movie. And then let me ride my bike home and then we'll go. And they're like, okay, we can make that work. And that's what I did. I rode to the theater by myself. I watched Independence Day. I absolutely loved it. I got back on my bicycle. I rode home and I went, okay, I'm good. Let's go camping for a week. And then I could tell everyone we went camping with, I saw Independence Day before we left because I was that kind of asshole child. Let's see here. The federal government just banned TikTok from federal employee phones. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Fuck TikTok. What is the best stripper movie in my opinion? Stripper Zombies. Because you get to see right up Jenna Jameson's, Main Street on that one. You do, actually. There's a whole scene where she like bends over and she strips and she like takes off her underwear and you get full, rear end view right up Main Street. It's just right there. I'm a young man who grew up in the 90s and early 2000s. I've had access to the internet for a long time. I mean, it's nothing I haven't seen before. A lot. But it's there. It was surprising, I should say. It was it was a surprise for sure, but a welcome one. But no, I think Striptease is probably the best one. People might argue Showgirls because they're stripping in Showgirls. And it's an underrated movie in my opinion too, but Striptease is just funny. Let's see here. You want a Zootopia 2? Exactly, man. Me too. Okay, let's see here. I'm glad that studios are letting theaters in China keep 100% of the box office to their old catalog. Yeah, that's good. They need it to keep alive. And the thing is that the movie studios know they need... This is why you can't see... you won't see Tenet on VOD. It's an $800 million movie in order to break even. This is the reports that are coming out. It needs $800 million worldwide to break a profit. I don't get it. I personally don't get it. How would they spend that much money? You almost got to ask yourself, when AT&T took over, did they just look at the accounting and go, the fuck were they doing? And it could be anything. Let's see here. Which Disney movie do I want a sequel to? You want a Roger Rabbit sequel. I would like a Roger Rabbit sequel, but without Bob Hoskins being alive, it feels pointless to me. And so on that front, no, thank you. I'm okay. I can rewatch the movie in glorious 4K on Disney Plus, and I do. Let's see here. Do I watch the NFL? If so, what's my favorite team? I do not watch the NFL. But I'll tell you what my least favorite team is. Well, it's a tie. It's the Patriots because fuck them. And I say that because of the cheating stuff, the Deflategate stuff, and you know what? Tom Brady married Giselle, so F him. No, but Bill Belichick's a dick. And then the Chargers, because people in San Diego were like the worst fair weather fans you can imagine. And so when the Chargers left San Diego, I was laughing hysterically. All my friends were just like, "No, the Chargers are leaving San Diego. No!" And I'm sitting there just eating my popcorn, going, "You fuckers never went to the games. How can you sit there and be upset? You never went to the games." That was the thing with San Diego. They have two teams, the Padres and the Chargers, and it's like they never went to the games. I mean, this is what it is. And the Chargers are always like, "We just want to get a new stadium." And it's like, to win. Yeah. You want a stadium, you got to get the city behind you. You want to get the city behind you, win. You don't win. We've watched this, there's an old coach, Marty Schottenheimer, and he would F it up. I don't watch football, but I would pay attention to the conversations. And I'd watch the fourth quarter occasionally, when it got fun. Otherwise it's just kind of whatever. But anyway, no one cares. No one here gives a shit about San Diego fucking sports teams. All right. Let's see here. When do I think Tenet will be out? Next year. Let's see. Best stripper movie, Dancing at the Blue Iguana. I don't know what that is. TikTok sucks. Agreed. Screenshot and splatter. I don't know what that's for, man. Let's see here. We watched the stripper zombie trailer on Max's Twitch at once. Yeah. I think I was there for that. Okay. Quibi and Nivea are being talked about today as potential takeover targets for Apple. And to be honest, it sounds like a bad move when Quibi lost a bunch of their users after the free trial. Yeah, I'm one of the people that still paid for it, and I haven't even turned it on in weeks. I'm actually probably going to cancel my Quibi. And it's not that I don't want to watch the content. I do want to watch the content. But just like HBO Max, I want to watch the content where I can watch the content. And that would be on my 4K big screen TV that I paid a lot of money for. I'm paying for this service. Give it to me where I can get my hands on it. If not, you're going to push me to get it where I can, and again, that goes back to the thing, releasing movies overseas first. It's like you are actively fucking your consumer. Stop it. Let's see. Okay. Do I think movie theaters being closed to mid 2021 is the case? I do, actually. How much money would Disney lose if they dropped Black Widow on VOD? They would lose probably about, I don't know, anywhere between 700 to 900 million. I do think that, by the way. I really think that. A lot of the success of the Marvel films comes from repeat viewings. If you just VOD'd it, come on, people are going to pirate the hell out of that thing. Let's see. You want the rabbit cop to get with that fox and make chimera babies? Oh, for Zootopia? Yeah. And they leave it really ambiguous with the end of Zootopia. When they're in the car and Nick Fox just goes, "You know you love me." And she goes, "Do I know that?" "Yes, I do." And I'm like, oh, okay. Bunny and Fox, they fuck, And I can't say that out loud, with my 2-year-old right there. I can't look at her and just go, "Honey, do you think that the fox and the bunny are going to make little foxy bunny chimera babies?" Because she'd be all like, "The fuck is wrong with you?" I'd be like, "That's a fair question." G.I. Joe 1 or 2? 1. 2 felt like an early 1990s action flick, which I enjoyed, but I'm a big Stephen Sommers fan, so I have to give it to number 1. Did I see The Longest Yard of Sandler? Yes, I did. That was actually a really solid movie. That was back during that was back right before, he was doing this weird thing with comedies where they were actually really good movies in general. The Longest Yard and Click were really well done. And that was coming off of a stream of really terrible movies. And then he went and did something like Bedtime Stories for Disney, which was god awful. Then he did Jack and Jill, which was just how did this movie come together? And then now he's been doing Netflix movies and doing really well. Let's see. With Sony Animation investing more into PG-13 animated films, I've always said that if Pixar were to do amateur animated movie, It should be a sequel to Inside Out. I'd like to see a sequel to Inside Out. I really would. I love Inside Out. It's a great film. Sony's also focusing on R-rated animated films too, because they can do it from home, and there's a big market for that. And I actually need to give credit to HBO Max on that front. A lot of their animation that they have been putting out is that they acquired is all adult themed animation. You know, Disney is all like I said, like Fancy Nancy and Mickey Mouse and all this shit. You go over to fucking, the parents click over to HBO Max and it's 9 p.m. time to put away the fucking puppets. Let's watch some South Park. Let's watch some Rick and Morty. There's Close Enough. There's the Boondocks are on there. A ton of freaking Robot Chicken stuff. You've got a bunch of Adult Swim. They know that they're trying to corner in on the adult animation marketplace, and I'm cool with that. Let's see here. Both the city of Houston and Bud Adams acted poorly in regard. I don't know. Okay, that's over my head when it comes to football. I have no idea. Hottest actress over 50. Whew. I'm not gonna lie, man. I still have a thing for Helen Mirren. She's in her 70s, and I'm I don't even care. I can't even compel myself to care about Super Bowl commercials anymore. Yeah, because they put them all online early, and they're all terrible. Have I checked out Peacock? I have not yet. Well, let's see here. Who's more to blame, HBO Max or Roku? Well, I'm hearing Roku is more to blame because apparently there's some financial issue with that. They want money. And HBO Max is no, we're not giving you money or something along those lines. I don't know yet. But I'm hearing it's Roku because it's also you have Peacock had the same problem. Quibi is in talks with Roku to put the app on the service. So I think it's maybe Roku. What's the point of HBO Max if there are no new interesting shows? That is true. I think The Mandalorian and Stranger Things on Netflix, as well as a lot of other Netflix stuff, has The Witcher and Unsolved Mysteries and everything else. I think it's done a lot to push it to the direction of needing to have that kind of original content. If you don't have that kind of original content, you're kind of screwing yourself. Let's see here. Hey, what's going on, Enoch? How you doing, buddy? This garbage, if not allowing services on their TVs, this is all stupid. Yeah. They need to work a deal. I don't understand it. It's the money is going to be worth it. With Roku being out of play for HBO Max, that's literally 80 million. That on Amazon to combine are 80 million. So it's not very good. Let's see. What do I think of Blue Sky Studios? Are they a good animation studio? I really enjoyed Rio. Not so much Rio 2. Animation was good, was fun and fine in Rio 2. But I think Rio 1 had a better story. I actually just rewatched that the other day with my kid because it's on HBO right now. And I liked it quite a bit. They also did they did Horton Hears a Who, which I enjoyed. They did Lorax, which I feel is an abomination unto man. I think if there is ever such a thing as a cinematic abortion in the terms of, or in the form of a child's animated movie, it is, in fact, the Lorax. That movie makes me want to take a red hot poker and shove it right up my rectum until I die. That movie makes me so angry that I just want to run my head through my own TV. That movie makes me feel like someone took 1,000 bees and fed it to me in a suppository, and then it's slowly opening, and the bees are stinging my colon. I really don't like that movie. It's on Netflix right now, I think, and or Hulu or one of those things. I think it may be even on Disney Plus. I don't fucking know. It's a Fox thing. Disney has it. And we watched it again the other day, and I'm just I can't with this thing. I just can't. It's just not a good movie. But I do think Blue Sky. I feel bad for Blue Sky in regards to what happened. Let's see here. The only reason why I got Peacock is for Saved by the Bell. Yeah, I do want to see the new Saved by the Bell. Let's see. Your fave Blue Sky movie is a Peanuts movie. I didn't see that, but I heard nothing but good things about it. Let's see here. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna. Oh, the Lorax was Illumination. Oh, okay. Well, fine. It doesn't change how I feel about the movie, but it also does exemplify my point that Illumination is very hit or miss. Because I feel very similar about the Lorax as I do about the first Despicable Me, and I don't like that movie. And I feel like The Secret Life of Pets is kind of like Madagascar, where it's just a whole bunch of New Yorkers that are stuck somewhere and they're annoying and they're not likable. But The Secret Life of Pets 2 I've watched a couple times because of my kids, and it's more enjoyable, even though it's still pretty god-awful. I mean, the Minions movie was bad. It was just bad. Despicable Me 3 was pretty good. I really liked Despicable Me 2. Surprising. I thought that was actually really, really, really good. But I do want to see this Illumination. I haven't seen The Grinch yet. I know they did The Grinch 2 with Benedict Cumberbatch as the Grinch. Seems kind of weird. And I know they're doing like a Mario movie, so I want to see the Mario movie. And I'll check out Minions too, because I mean, I like the Minions. Let's see here. When you were a child, you saw Lorax and you hated it. Well, Kyle, I was an adult and I wanted to kill myself. If it's that bad, you gotta watch Lorax. It's not that bad. I just didn't like the movie. Let's see. Safety here says in the past month I've watched nearly twice as much HBO Max as Netflix. That's good, man. I can't because it's not on my TV. I just, like at nighttime I do streams and then I go play video games and then I go to bed. Or I deliver food. Can't watch it on my big screen TV in the morning. Let's see. Would I rather watch Lorax 100 times in a row or be stuck in an elevator with every member of the Fandom Menace for 24 hours? I could punch the people in the Fandom Menace. So I think either I would punch them all and win, or they would beat me and I would die. Either way, I would come out on top than watching the Lorax 100 times in a row. I have not watched Hamilton by now. No, I haven't. Big Daddy or Mr. Deeds? Oh, come on, dude. It's clearly Big Daddy. Mr. Deeds is a good movie, too. Especially that Steve Buscemi, cameo. How do you do, fellow kids? That's great. And I liked Winona Ryder in the movie. I thought Mr. Deeds was a good one. But Big Daddy, I think, was a better film. Let's see here. The Grinch isn't as good as the Jim Carrey one. Oh, yeah, obviously. That was Ron Howard directing it with Jim Carrey absolutely loathing playing the part. So the self-loathing that the Grinch has in that movie, I think was a lot of method acting on Jim Carrey's part, and I think it was a better movie. Plus, there's even a swingers joke in that film. Despicable Me is starting to get played. You mean like just in regards to like it's just too much? Or I mean, where have you been for the last 10 years, man? Let's see. What's my ranking for the DCEU? Oh, I don't know, man. That's like on the spot type stuff right there. I don't know how to feel about that. Probably BVS Ultimate, Man of Steel, Aquaman, Shazam, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman. And it's not that I dislike Wonder Woman. It's just like it's a bleak movie. I don't think it's aged as well as like even Suicide Squad. And that's gonna catch me some shit. And then at the very bottom is Justice League. I've watched it once. I have no desire to watch it again. Although before Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out, I will watch Justice League again just so I can review it. Let's see here. Even ever see Zookeeper with Kevin? I have not. No. Am I excited for Space Jam 2? I am not actually. I don't care about LeBron. I don't care about LeBron James. I'm sorry. I don't care. I do not care about LeBron James in any sense of the term. Like, I think he's doing great things with like helping kids learn. Like he's putting his money to use, and that's great. But I don't care about LeBron James, man. Like they're like, we're gonna do Space Jam 2, and then I'm like, why? And everyone's like, but it's got LeBron, and I'm all like, yeah, and the first one had Wayne Knight and Bill Murray in it. Like, who, come on. Like, if Jordan isn't in it, I don't see a point. And I guarantee you Jordan's going to have a cameo in the movie. And there's going to be like for Kobe at the end or something like that too, which is fine with me because that was, tragic. But yeah, I don't care about Space Jam 2. Like, I'll watch it because why the hell not? But maybe a trailer will change my mind. Maybe I'll watch a trailer and I'll be like, yeah, all right. They're pulling out some of the old, like their soundtrack's going to be full of nothing but Quad City DJs and some R. Kelly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I can't sing, but I remember that soundtrack. I had the soundtrack for that one. Like that was a big one. R. Kelly was big with that one too. It's kind of like Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever soundtrack had Seal Kiss from a Rose. It's a good song. Seal's a great performer, but like his career was practically dead at that point. And then they put Kiss from a Rose on there, and like everyone went out about the Batman Forever soundtrack. And Seal the other day when Joel Schumacher died was like, yeah, that man like saved my career, man. So you know what? Like sometimes soundtracks can do soundtrack, but there's no way that a re-release of the Space Jam soundtrack could ever save R. Kelly and what befell him. That was some stuff. Let's see here. Did I ever see Changing Lanes with Sam Jackson and Ben Affleck? I did. Yeah, that was actually pretty good. Fright Night or Lost Boys? It's definitely for me Lost Boys. But dude, Fright Night is really, really, really good. I couldn't bring myself to watch that like 2006 remake with Anton Yelchin. I just couldn't bring myself to do it because I think Fright Night was such a good movie. Like you don't need again. It'd be like if they remade Silver Bullet and Gary Busey wasn't involved in any capacity. It would just be like, there's no point for this. I can go back and watch Peak Busey. Okay. So, let's see. The Ghostbusters video game is canon. Well, no, actually, it's really not. It might be again, but until I was in the room when Ivan Reitman decanonized the Ghostbusters video game. But with the remaster that came out last year, I would assume that it's probably been recanonized. And and I'm just going to sound like a total pretentious little asshole here, but if you ever, like, I did a video on this a long time ago about like how everything's connected because I looked into it, like a nerd. And there's actually like the video game actually sets up like the events or connects the events of 1 and 2 to the video game. And it sets up what I think is going to be the villain in in Afterlife. And that's pretty cool. So it's like, yeah, the game's got to be canon. But I was in the room when Ivan Reitman said it's not canon, but that was also 2017. Let's see. The Living Daylights are Licensed to Kill. Oh, dude, Licensed to Kill. Come on, you had Benicio del Toro was an underboss. Let's see here. Okay, quick summary of my thoughts on Roy Den Hollander's personality. I don't know what his mental state is, dude. The guy somehow got his hands on. Okay, so real quick on this one here. Last night there was an assault. Well, there was an assassination attempt on a U.S. district judge. And the guy who killed her son and shot her husband, but he's expected to survive. It's a guy named, we think it's a guy named Roy Den Hollander because they found him later on and he was dead, right? So now the plot thickens. And anyway, this dude dressed up like a FedEx delivery driver, had a FedEx package with her name on it. Like it was addressed to her house. I don't know how the hell he got it. That's the thing I want to know the answer to is how did he get that? But he ended up like shooting her son and then shooting the husband, and then he fled in like an ordinary car. That was his getaway vehicle. And then they found him later on with the gunshot wound to the head, self-inflicted. So it's really weird. This guy was an anti-feminist, pro-MRA, pro-Trump person. I don't know about his mental state, but I mean, like, I don't know, man. That's some shit right there. That is going to be like one of those things that I think like conspiracy, like the tinfoil Americans, as I'm calling them now, they're going to be like all over that, like white on rice for a long time. So I have to wait to find out more, but yeah, this would happen with that shit. Let's see here. Will Tenet be released this year? I don't think so. Hard Target or Broken Arrow? I will have to give it to Hard Target. But I do really, 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 really like Broken Arrow. So I think Broken Arrow was just a good, solid action film. But Hard Target was like early 90s Jean-Claude Van Damme. So right around the same time as like Time Cop and Universal Soldier. And I just think that was like in part of that when he was at the peak of his game. And I really enjoyed Hard Target quite a bit. Actually, we were talking about it last night. There's a director's cut I got to get my hands on. I can buy it for $15 on Amazon, which I probably should. But yeah. Anyway, who is the scariest serial killer I can think of? Dude, Ted Bundy is pretty fucking scary if you think about it. But like BTK was pretty scary. The Golden State Killer is pretty scary because of like the raping. Like, and this guy was methodical as hell. He went, all these years without being caught, but probably the scariest. I mean, like, just in regards to pop culture and all that stuff, Zodiac, man, because like he just terrorized Northern California, and I really think that like David Fincher and doing Zodiac back from 2007, I think that's his pinnacle work, and it just did such a really good job, I think, setting up that story. And I would like to know one day if we could ever get closure on that, but I don't think we will because at this point Zodiac is dead. Best John McTiernan movie. You fucking asshole. Like best John McTiernan. You dick. It's clearly Die Hard. Let's just start off by saying that. But it's also like, come on, dude. Come on. Predator. Hunt for Red October. Die Hard with a Vengeance, which I put Die Hard with a Vengeance pretty up there with Die Hard. It's not as good as Die Hard, but it's up there with Die Hard. And then, you've got like The Last Action Hero, which I think is an amazing movie for the time. And then, but a personal favorite of mine, and this might be, if you guys agree with me on this, press 1. But a personal favorite of mine on that front is 13th Warrior. I mean, also, I don't want to forget Predator. Okay, I don't want to forget Predator. Predator is also the shit. But I love 13th Warriors. If you're a 13th Warrior stan like I am, hit 1 in the chat. I just don't say rollerball. Did I say rollerball? I did not. Let's see here. Let's see. Prometheus or Predators? Predators, man. I mean, like, Predators is a better movie than Prometheus, but Prometheus is an exceptionally well-made movie. That cinematography is like, oh my fuck, amazing. If you enjoy good cinematography, that is a movie you could just watch and like feverishly masturbate to the cinematography on that. Like it gives people chubs from how good it is. It's so good, but the script was so bad. Like the last act was so bad. And then you get into Covenant and that was even worse. And I'm like, dude, really give us Neil Blomkamp. Sure, he did Chappie and that was a load of shit, but he gave us District 9 and Elysium was pretty fun too. But District 9, you know what I mean? Like, just, I don't know. I think Neil Blomkamp is good where he's at right now. Although I did want to see his RoboCop remake. Best time travel movie is Back to the Future, dude. Come on. It's the best time travel movie is Back to the Future. There's other good ones, Like I said, Time Cop is pretty good. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is really good. Hot Tub Time Machine is pretty good. I think that stood the test of time. There's there's a Kate and Leopold. That one with Hugh Jackman and Meg Ryan from 2001 or 2002. That's actually a solid rom-com. No, I'm not kidding you. It's a solid rom-com. Although you want to know a really good rom-com? Has anyone here seen Alex and Emma? Drew Barrymore and Luke Wilson? Where he's like a struggling writer and he hires her as his assistant and it kind of goes through the story that he's trying to write, but it's really like them kind of falling in love. It's a funny, it's a Rob Reiner directed movie. It's really good. I think it's really funny. I think it's a Warner Brothers too. Hopefully it's on HBO Max at some point in time. I'd love to watch Alex and Emma again. What's another one that's like that too? There's a lot of good rom-coms out there. I missed those good rom-coms, like the feel good rom-coms. We don't get many of those anymore. Like we don't even get like many comedies anymore. I don't feel we get many comedies anymore. Everything in theaters nowadays is caped movies, which makes sense. They pull in the money, but it's like, I mean, The Hangover. I don't feel like we get many things like that. I know Good Boys came out last year, which is on HBO, and I haven't seen it yet, and I should check it out. But it's just like, we just don't get anything anymore, man. All right. Let's see here. The Taking of Pelham 123 was good. Travolta was a good villain again, like Broken Arrow. I never saw The Taking of Pelham 123. Why did critics hate Godzilla King of the Monsters? Because they're fucking dead inside, Garrick. They are dead inside. How can I walked out of Godzilla King of the Monsters and I think the first thing I tweeted was this movie was pure sex. It was orgasmic from beginning to end. It was so much fun to watch. Like, did these critics go into a Godzilla movie expecting it to be like a well thought out, socially conscious, big budget blockbuster about, monsters fighting and the effects of climate change? Like, did they go into this expecting it to be like Brad Bird's Tomorrowland, but competent? Like, I don't know, man. Like, what happened with that? They just went in there and it was like, they tore it apart. I went and watched it. I'm like, this movie was good. Y'all dumb. Let's see here. Rob Reiner also directed North. Okay, we don't talk about North. All right, we don't talk about North. Let's see. The Time Traveler's Wife is the best time travel movie, and About Time. Rachel McAdams makes the best. I never saw either of those, but I do like Rachel McAdams a lot. What do I think the announcement that Zack Snyder mentioned is? I think for Justice Con, I think it's just going to be like another teaser. It could be like a couple people were saying that Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill were going to be there. Like one scooper, this guy named Taylor from the Cultured Nerd apparently was saying that, and then apparently the girls who run Justice Con had to tell them, like Taylor from the Cultured Nerd, to stop saying that because it's not happening. And there's so much that goes on with the scooper game right now. It's like it's really difficult to tell what's happening, but that is kind of what it is. Let's see here. Escape from New York or Escape from LA? It's not even a question. All right? Like, that's not even a question. Obviously, anything with Bruce Campbell trumps anything without Bruce Campbell. So, yeah, dude, Escape from LA. I'm kidding. Escape from New York. I like Escape from LA. I do. Pam Grier, Steve Buscemi, Bruce Campbell as the Surgeon General of Los Angeles. I mean, like, it was such a weird West Coast dystopian take, but it didn't have Isaac Hayes or Ernest Hemingway. Right? Or sorry, Ernest Borgnine, not Hemingway, Borgnine. You know, it didn't like Escape from New York is such an iconic, classic, amazing movie that holds up to this day, which is why like early, 80s, 70s and 80s Carpenter still holds up to this day, in my opinion. Yes, and I'm including Halloween 2 on that one as well. People like to talk shit about Halloween 2. It's a good movie, F me. Let's see here. Movie or show you deeply regret you haven't seen yet? This one, I haven't seen Skull Island. I own it. I know exactly where my Blu-ray is right now. I have not seen Skull Island. Came out 3 years ago. I haven't seen it. Or 2 years ago. No, 3 years ago. Did it come out it came out 2017, I think, right? I was in the process of moving, so I didn't get the time to go see it. Let's see. Hot Chick or The Animal? The Hot Chick was really funny. The Hot Chick was, we had that movie at my drive-in playing as a co-feature to Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Right? We had that movie because Lord of the Rings was like 3.5 hours long or 3 hours long, whatever. And so it was like, we had it playing twice nightly. We needed a co-feature. And so the shortest movie we could get that I think was also a New Line or a Warner's or something connected to them was The Hot Chick. So we had The Hot Chick. So we had, epic Middle Earth, taking the ring to Mount Doom, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, right? The Battle for Helm's Deep, all that shit. And then it was all like The Hot Chick with Rob Schneider. We had some weird combos. Like in the summer of 2002, we had, or maybe it was 2003. It might probably been 2003. We had Steven Spielberg's Minority Report playing with Juwanna Mann, right? And I actually never sat down to watch all of Minority Report, but I watched Juwanna Mann a bunch. It's such a dumb, fun movie. Even my buddy, here it is 17 years later, I could call him right now and I could just be like, I could just go, yo, Marky, puff smoky smoke, right? And he would like know exactly what I'm talking about. And he would probably throw back some stupid line in the process. But yeah, we watched a lot of bad movies. Let's see here. Is it true Joss Whedon will be at Comic-Con at home? I literally have no idea. I have no idea I haven't even looked at what's happening. Do I think Hollywood would take advantage of the drive-in resurgence? I think they're going to try. The problem with the biggest problem with drive-in resurgence is that people are saying, oh, they could open more drive-ins, which would be cool. Problem is space. Now, Walmart has said that they're going to start converting some of their parking lots into drive-ins. And God help that situation. I worked at a drive-in. I know what it's like to manage that parking lot because I ran it. Like I like to argue that I ran my parking lot like an efficient machine. I was an asshole, but with good reason. I wanted everyone to see and enjoy the movie. And if you were going to be a dick, you weren't going to get one over on me. Not on my watch, punk. And I got in some serious confrontations with people. To the point of where like I've had people that were like, could beat me up in a fight and I'm in their face like an umpire in a ball game. Just like, you get out of here. It was funny. Good times. Let's see here. Kicking and screaming or the bench warmers. I'm going to go with probably bench warmers. If I could direct any movie, what genre would it be? Romantic comedy, comedy, action, foreign film, action, romantic comedy. I would, if I could direct any movie, the only movies I'm interested in making are point of view found footage. Those are the only ones I want to make. Right? Those like pseudo documentary types. That's it. That's the only thing I'm interested in. I don't know why. It's what compels me. It's the kind of film I want to make. It's the kind I want to work on. And I've got a bunch of ideas for a bunch of them and shit. I've made 2 of them. I don't know if anyone here has seen In Search Of. If not, I'll send you the link. It's free. You can watch it. But I mean, so I'd probably want to go for like, maybe action point of view, like a hardcore Henry sort of situation. That'd be kind of fun. Did I like Rob Zombie's Halloween? I did, yes. I enjoyed the first 45 minutes immensely, giving us that extra story of Michael Myers, of how he became, what prompted him to the house that night to kill everybody. And then I did enjoy the last 45 minutes, very much acting as a summary of the original film. And I thought Malcolm McDowell was great in the role, and I really enjoyed Rob Zombie's Halloween. I went to go see that actually twice in theaters. When it was out in 2007. So I did like it quite a bit. The problem though is Halloween 2 was terrible. What most wasted potential movie or show? Oh my God. I had to think about that one. That's kind of weird. Well, I mean, there's movies with wasted potential, like Fantastic Four, Fan Four Stick from 2015. That's wasted potential right there. I don't know if Josh Trank's original vision would have been any better, but they borked that movie so bad. I mean, even like X-Men Apocalypse had such good potential, but they just squandered it. So, I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of movies out there that are kind of like iffy on the potential, but yeah. Let's see. Okay, Minority Report was 2002. Thank you. I said it was either 2002 or 2003. Let's see. Avoid Skull Island. It's like Roland Emmerich did a sequel to a Nolan movie when compared to Godzilla 2014. What? Like, for one, I think I'm one of the only people that really liked Godzilla 2014 more the second time I viewed it. I didn't like it the first time I saw it. But okay. Raiders or Last Crusade? Oh, I've already said Raiders is my number one movie of all time. So clearly the answer is Raiders. Favorite mockumentary? I really like Drop Dead Gorgeous is one of my personal faves. And I know that's finally on Hulu after all these. It might be on HBO Max now, but it was like it finally went to Hulu after all those years. They never released a Blu-ray of it, as far as I know. I do own it on DVD, but I just loved Drop Dead Gorgeous from back in the day. I thought that was so wickedly funny, and it was so satiristic of a beauty pageant world. And we've seen other things like like Honey Boo Boo and whatnot from a number of years ago, and like that felt like it was a satiristic take on this stuff, but it was real. I think Drop Dead Gorgeous is probably my favorite. Better Jason Statham franchise, Crank or The Transporter? I'm gonna go with Crank, because Crank, at least both 1 and 2, were wildly original. The first Transporter is awesome. The second Transporter is very good, but not as good as the first one. The third Transporter is just bad. So it just was like, I didn't hate it, but I went to the midnight show when it came out, saw it with a couple of friends of mine, because we're big Jason Statham fans. And we walked out and went like, yeah, it wasn't as good as the other ones. Whereas like Crank 1 and 2, the fact that like on my way to go see Crank 2 with my buddy, we're talking about Crank. And he goes, you know what I hope for Crank 2? I hope they address that fucking phone call at the end of first Crank. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like when he's falling, when Chev is falling, and he pulls out his phone and he calls his girlfriend and he leaves her a message right before he dies. Like, I mean, she would never be able to hear that. It would just be nothing but wind. And I'm like, that's a good point. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to mention that. And then they mention it in Crank 2. There's a whole bit in there about like, he's like, I tried calling you, and it cuts to the voicemail and it's just, wind noises and stuff. So I thought that was great. I think Nedavine and Taylor, the guys who did Crank and Crank 2, as well as Gamer and Jonah Hex, I believe, and Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. They haven't done anything since then, I think. But like those guys I love those guys. I want to see them go back to that kind of like very hyperkinetic, low budget, approach. Because Crank, when it came out in '06, was such an interesting thing, because as far as my recollection goes, this is a movie that was shot on prosumer cameras. When I say prosumer cameras, we're talking mini DV Canon XL1s, or maybe it was either GL2s or XL1s. Like these are like prosumer $2,500, cameras that Canon put out that are this is what we use to film short films in college. And here is fucking Crank, and it's shot on these prosumer cameras, and it gives it a very gritty feel, and it gives it a very in your face feel. and they're portable and they're light and they're compact and you can move them around. And then of course here comes Hardcore Henry, a movie that is shot entirely on GoPros. And just the way they put it together, I love it when that kind of experimental kind of a movie takes place. Kind of like I need to watch Escape from Tomorrow, which is the one that guy secretly shot at both Disney World and Disneyland. And then it went out to film festivals, and then there was like a big legal fight with Disney over it. I heard it's not good, like it's not very good, but I want to see how he did it. I want to see how he was able to use Disney to do all that. I actually wanted, after Escape from Tomorrow came out, I started thinking of ways to do something like that myself, right? How could I make a movie that would be shot very covertly and then put it out? So what I wanted to do was I wanted to shoot a movie in Hall H during Comic-Con, right? I wanted to shoot a feature-length thriller in Hall H during Comic-Con. This is true. So the plot I came up with, because I'll tell you what, first off, I'll tell you what spawned the idea. Go back to Comic-Con 2010, Saturday 2010. This is 10 years ago. This was the day when the Avengers were on stage for the first time together. I was there. It was beautiful. But before then, there was, they had like the panels for Captain America. They had the panel for Thor. They had the panel for Cowboys and Aliens. Harrison Ford showed up for the first time at Comic-Con. That was amazing. And they also had a panel for Paul. But in the middle of transitioning between one panel to another, an incident happened. A guy was stabbed in the eye with a pen. Now, he wasn't stabbed directly in the eyeball. It was more above the eye, but it was enough to cause blood to splash. And it was enough to get security involved, and it shut everything down for about 20, 30 minutes. And in this time, you got a room of 6,500 people. You got a room of 6,500 people, and they are sitting there, and no one knows really what the fuck is going on. So the rumors start to kind of spread. Well, I heard it was a guy that got stabbed in the eye. What? No fucking way. Stabbed in the eye for what? It was a fucking seat dispute. Now, if you go to Comic-Con, you know Hall H, you know seat disputes and line disputes are a real issue. But everyone was asking questions. Everyone was like, well, I wonder what's going on. Like, it's just, chatter. So I'm sitting there thinking about like, man, what wouldn't it be kind of cool to do a thriller where you've got a bunch of nerds in Hall H all day on a Saturday. It's like the biggest day. It goes from like 10 a.m. until like 7 p.m. Right? It's a big day, whole day, long day. And someone is in there to kill somebody else. And they're going to use this room, this crowd to do it. And the main character overhears the plot for this. So I wanted to approach it very Hitchcockian and like really try to play up like the whodunit aspect of it, like trying to do like the mystery of like solving who did it. And the thing is, it never really went past a conceptual phase because I would have like to make it work the way that I wanted. We'd have to shoot it over like the 3 days, really the 3 days of Comic-Con. You maybe get 4 and get everything you need to get in Hall H during just the time in between panels. And then every time there'd be background shots, it would be different people because it would be done on different days. And then to make it interesting enough and compelling enough dialogue-wise inside the hall to not raise an alarm for anyone else. And it just, conceptually speaking, it ended up being a bit too complicated to do. But I really wanted to do something like that because I thought it would just be interesting. Like if you were to shoot a movie that took place during Comic-Con and you covertly shot this movie during Comic-Con, it would be pretty fascinating, I think. Yeah, William here says kind of like an Agatha Christie mystery. Yeah, kind of like that, yeah. Film versus digital. See, I am a digital guy. I'm always a new technology kind of guy. I love film. I want to go see Tenet in 70 millimeter IMAX. I want to see it on print. One of my favorite memories from when I worked at the theater that spawned the name $3 Theater was I had to screen all of these cult movies on Friday night. My job was to make sure the print was good. And so I watched an original 1985 print of Back to the Future. And there were some problems with it here and there. It was still an original print. And for a film junkie, for a movie buff, that is significant in my mind. Watching an original, at that time, it was 2010. So it was a 25-year-old print of a movie that I'm watching. And it was so cool. It wasn't a remaster. It wasn't a restoration. It was the original print. And that was cool as fuck. Let's see here. You liked King Arthur: Legend of the Sword? That was the. I didn't see that one. That was the Guy Ritchie one, right? I didn't see that. I own it. I bought it, but I don't have it. I never watched it. Let's see here. Not a bad idea. You could repurpose the story for a different comic convention. Somebody called Bloomhouse or A24 for funding. Yeah. Yeah, you could do it. I mean, it doesn't have to be Comic-Con. You could literally shoot it like any convention. And then, yeah, I mean, I think diehard Comic-Con goers would know if you tried setting it at San Diego and then whatever. But yeah, it's an interesting concept. Comic-Con or WonderCon? I've only been to one WonderCon, and that was 8 years ago. And it was literally Comic-Con like light. It was all the same vendors, all the same people, like 1/4 the crowd. So yeah, I mean, I like WonderCon because it's Anaheim Convention Center is very nice, and 2, it is way less people, and it's a lot better to park. So, thoughts on the Saw movies? I really enjoyed 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 specifically. 3 I liked less as time went on, and I think 4 was the one where he was trying to convert the cop to become the new Jigsaw, right? I liked that one. And I never saw 5, 6, or 7. I saw the opening of 7 because it was on Netflix, and like I just checked it out, and it was like that one where those dudes are in like some weird like public trap and they die, and it was so I was turned off by it. But I'm really pissed off. I have to wait till next year to see Spiral because Spiral just looks good and I want to see it. Let's see here. People hopping in streams. No, I'm not doing a hop in stream tonight, man. I'm only going to be off making it like 10 minutes. I know I said that like 30 minutes ago, but my voice is starting to go out and it's warm in here. I have the fan on, but I'm just like, I need to go like rest up. Let's see. Where did I see Dark Knight for the first time? And how did I feel watching it? So I saw The Dark Knight in a standard regular movie theater for the first time. And I felt awesome watching it because I had gone and seen I Am Legend in IMAX at the end of 2007 because they showed the first 6 minutes of The Dark Knight in IMAX, the whole bank robbery scene in IMAX. It was awesome. But in the summer of 2008 in Southern California, we had a bit of a gas problem going on. Gas was through the roof. We're talking $4.45 a gallon. It was insane. So it would cost so much money to go literally anywhere. So we didn't really, I didn't go too many places that I wanted to, but we had The Dark Knight at my drive-in. So I watched it there when I was working. I paid to watch The Dark Knight. So then one day randomly, I worked part-time as needed at a film studio in San Diego. And I get hit up from the owner and he's like, "Hey, listen, I'm out of town." I forget where he was. He was out of country. And he's like, I bought a 10K light. It's this massive fucking light from someone in Irvine. Can you get Jeff, which is another friend of mine, well, ex-friend, and go up there to go get it? And I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. He's like, I'll pay you guys gas. I'll cover gas and food and all that shit. I'm like, okay, fine. So we drive up to Irvine and we go and we get this huge, massive 10K light. Well, the thing is Irvine has an IMAX. In fact, outside of LA in Southern California, it's the only true IMAX. What I mean by that is stadium seating. All the IMAXs in San Diego are all faux IMAXs. They're just retrofitted theaters. If you go see IMAX now and there's no stadium seating, you're watching a faux IMAX. That's the way it is. But they had The Dark Knight playing, and it was in Irvine. And I looked at my buddy and I said, "Hey man, listen, do you want to go see The Dark Knight? We've got time to kill for one because traffic is insane. Why don't we go check it out? We're already up here. And like, I'll cover your ticket," because he didn't have a job and we were using his car. I said, "I'll pay for your ticket." So we went and we watched it in IMAX and true IMAX. And there wasn't a lot of people there because this was August 2008. So the movie had been out for a while. And that was just an absolute mind-blowing, earth-shattering experience, which is why I want to go see Tenet in 70 millimeter IMAX. There are only a few directors that I trust with film at this point in time. Nolan, Snyder, Tarantino. are 3 of them. And so I will go see them in that format, in the best possible format that I can, the way they intended. Now, I don't know where I live now, where I'm going to be able to go and see Tenet when it does come out in 70 millimeter print. I'm probably going to have to drive to Seattle for that, and that's okay. I just want to see it in that format because I think, to me, that's an experience I personally want to have. Let's see here. Men in Black, Ghostbusters, or Hellboy 2004. What? Ghostbusters, clearly. Okay, let's see here. What about Uwe Boll with IMAX? If they put like Blood Rain in IMAX, I'd suffer through it. I'm one of the few people that actually kind of respect Uwe Boll. I didn't say like, but respect. Because that dude pulled off some serious shit. And he did it for years, and he got away with it. And he's personally set back video game adaptations by a long time. And now he doesn't even make movies. He owns a restaurant in Vancouver, British Columbia. And we followed each other on Twitter for a while until he got banned again. And I want to meet him. I want to go to British Columbia, and I want to go talk to him about these movies. And he doesn't want to. I've reached out to him before. I talked to his assistant, right? And he's like, well, Mr. Bull would talk to you about his other movies. And I'm like, fine. I would go and I would watch the entire Uwe Boll collection before going into an interview with this guy to be up to speed, because there's movies he made I actually kind of enjoy. Far Cry wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It felt like a sci-fi, Saturday night creature feature. I had fun with it. I mean, like, look, House of the Dead was god awful beyond belief, but that trailer was lit. Alone in the Dark is just terrible, but it gave us the meme about Tara Reid, and she puts on glasses so she's smart, so she looks smart. I mean, Blood Rain was god awful, but I want to ask the question if it's true that instead of paying actresses to pose nude with Meatloaf when in that one scene, if they just went down, is it true they went down to a local brothel and they just rented hookers for a couple hours and brought them in to do this scene, But I'll tell you the kicker, the key, and I know Zach Ward. I've worked with Zach Ward. Postal is a movie that I find to be fascinating. I actually really enjoyed Postal because Uwe Boll knew exactly what that movie was. He knew exactly what he wanted it to be, and it works. It is not good, but I love it. It's terrible. It is crude. It is vile. It is disgusting. You see Dave Foley's dick for some reason. Still love the movie. I'm also friends with the actress. I've never met her, but we're friends on Facebook. The actress who played in Blubberella, which was his satirical take on Blood Rain. And I also want to see like the ones he did a Holocaust movie, like where the trailer was like him being the dude who, shut the gas chamber on Jews. Like, he did a movie about the Holocaust and shit. Like, he did this Rampage movie that apparently is really good. It was just like, he's done a bunch of Rampage, not the video game, but like another story and shit. So he's done a bunch of crap, and it's like, not all of it is god awful. A lot of it is. But I would love to sit down and then just talk about his career. You know what I mean? Like, all of it, all the way through. And I don't even want to come at it from like a negative spin. I want to come at it like a freaking anthropologist. I want to dive in. I want to dig. I want to, use my little brush around the bones and like excavate this skeleton of a film career, and I want to like appreciate it for what it is and put it up in a fucking museum, because Uwe Boll is infamous for multiple reasons, and he's crazy for multiple reasons. But I think there's a genius in his craziness that I find to be so fascinating, and I just love to have a conversation with him. Anyway, I did see that Karen tried to cancel Adult Swim. Let's see. Does Lucas count for IMAX, or has he fallen from grace? Well, Lucas, doesn't make movies anymore. So there's that. Let's see here. Epic movie or superhero movie? Epic movie, dude. I didn't care for those disaster movies type things. Do I think it's over for the Snyderverse since Zack is not part of the DCEU? It's still part of the DCEU. That is just what he said today. He basically said it's part of it, but like it's his part of it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's, again, you have to like read, like look at what he says and actually like look at the situation and look at what he says. And there's that. Thoughts on Midnight Gospel? That's the one where that chick died, right? Is that the one where that chick died on the bridge? I haven't seen it. What did I think of Postal? I like Postal. Uwe Boll is a Nazi apologist. I don't know if is he a Nazi apologist? That I don't know. If he's a Nazi apologist, I will, I don't know that. I've never heard that. Let's see here. Could Freddy Got Fingered get made today? No. No, it couldn't. Favorite Schumacher movie? Probably Lost Boys. I enjoyed a lot of, Falling Down was really good too. I think Phone Booth was really good. But Lost Boys is the shit. Better question. Could Blazing Saddles be made today? It all depends on who's making it. Could Mel Brooks make Blazing Saddles today? The answer to that is no. No, he couldn't. You wouldn't have if he could, but you wouldn't be able to have a black sheriff. Right? And like you just wouldn't be able to. But if Mel Brooks produced it, and let's say like, I don't know, Tim Story directed it and co-wrote it, if maybe Chris Rock co-wrote it or not, but if they were to make Blazing Saddles today, how much you want to bet Sheriff Bart would be played by Kevin Hart? You know it to be true. You know it. If they were to do Blazing Saddles today, they would get Kevin Hart to play the sheriff. I don't know who would they get to play. The Gene Wilder's character, The Rock. I just don't see that being what Seth Rogen. Look, my hand moves like I don't know. Let's see here. Thoughts on Seth MacFarlane movies? I like them. I think A Million Ways to Die in the West is a hysterical movie that was ruined by bad marketing. But I like Ted 1 and Ted 2. And the Orville is the shit. Could Spike Lee make Blazing Saddles? No. If Spike Lee were to make Blazing Saddles, it would be the most bitter, cynical movie ever made. It would be. It'd be very bitter. It'd be very cynical with the undertones. It just wouldn't work. Not in the way that it could. Not in the way it would work with somebody who actually makes comedies. What was the last great spoof movie? Ghostbusters 2016. It wasn't a Ghostbusters movie. It was a spoof film. It just had the licensing rights. All right. Okay. If Keenan Ivory Wayans made Blazing Saddles, I'd be in. Because Keenan needs to come back. That motherfucker hasn't made a movie since Little Man in 2006, I believe. And that wasn't very good. That was a take on an old Warner's cartoon. But I'm going to get you, sucker. Don't be a menace while drinking your juice in the hood. A Low Down Dirty Shame. Scary Movie 2, White Chicks. I mean, Keenan Ivory Wayans, I grew up watching In Living Color. I love the Wayans. And I feel bad that for some reason Marlon is the only one still working. like Mark, and I have nothing against Marlon Wayans, but he's not as talented as Keenan or Damon. And I mean, Damon Wayans was around, he did 3 seasons of Lethal Weapon, so there's that. But I mean, you haven't seen Keenan Ivory Wayans in a long time. And that dude was great. I love that guy. Best Bill Murray film. I'm going to go with Stripes. Do I think the Oscars will be canceled? I hope so. Uwe Boll making Blazing Saddles. That would just, that'd be nothing but mass genocides of Native Americans. Apparently Seth MacFarlane genuinely had his feelings hurt by the South Park guys' criticisms about his lazy writing style. I mean, I get that. I do get that. They put a lot of work and effort into their scripts. They do a lot with story structure, and they do a lot with what's beneath the surface. Seth is the kind of he's kind of like an opening act stand-up comic. Like if the South Park guys were, let's say, Carlin or something, I think Seth would be something kind of like Kinnison. And that's a weird comparison to make, but the reason why I say it is, and it's not to diminish either Kinnison, who I love, or Seth, who I adore, it's that this comedy stylings are just vastly different. Trey specifically, not so much Matt, but it's Trey. Trey is such a gifted, talented individual for telling deep stories using crude humor. Seth is amazing at telling lighthearted stories using extremely crude humor. They operate very similar to one another, but still on different planes, and both can be respected and loved. Seth has a genuine love for what he makes fun of. The South Park guys have a genuine contempt for what they make fun of. And so that's where you start seeing the differences in their style. You know, like I go to Family Guy to watch pop culture references and to see Peter fight a chicken. I go to South Park for sometimes, occasionally, extremely biting satirical content. That is very much relevant at the time. I don't get that from Seth MacFarlane, but I just love that Seth has an optimism about him, whereas South Park has very cynical nihilism about it. So it's two different aspects, but I still love both. Best Seagal movie. Fuck, dude. I'm going to go with Under Siege, which is maybe, I don't want to say controversial. It's kind of a safe bet, you know, because if you go back and you look at like Seagal, and we're talking early Seagal, anything past The Glimmer Man is shit, is pure shit. All right. Like The Patriot and all the other movies he's done direct to video. But Under Siege 1 was really good. So was Hard to Kill. I'm not a big Above the Law fan. Marked for Death was fucking dope. I really enjoyed, as it Out for Justice? No. On Deadly Ground, where he was the oil guy doing the, you know, working with the oil. I like that because he made the homemade silencer. But Under Siege, I think, is the best because you've got Gary Busey, you've got Tommy Lee Jones, you've got Cole Meany, Erica Laniak. You know, it's just, I love Under Siege. Under Siege 2, I don't hate it. I actually really like it. You know, you got a lot of good villains and whatever in the film. I think it's pretty good. Oh, we got hey, a super chat here from John Joseph Gray the Fourth. Thank you so much, man. $10. Woo 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 woo. It says here, hopefully all is well with you. Just want to let you know that I uploaded a few new videos to my channel, and some of them are behind the scenes at Great Adventure. That a theme park? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll send me a link on Twitter. I'll check it out because I do like theme park stuff. I just I don't watch as much of it as I should. Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, man. Fucking Exit Wounds. I love Exit Wounds though. I do. I love Exit Wounds. That would probably be like in my top because I think DMX did such a good job in that movie, and he worked really well with Seagal, and Seagal really had like that stoic nature. Plus, who else was in that movie? Like Ava Mendez was in Exit Wounds, and it was from the guy who did Cradle to the Grave, Jet Li, and DMX, which was also a fun movie. But then he went on to go do Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun Li, which I didn't see, by the way. I don't know how bad that movie is. I heard nothing but bad things about it. But I do love me some Exit Wounds. I think on the last Trailer Park After Dark, we watched that trailer. Because it was just like, it was a fun trailer. It's a fun movie. So yeah, I do like, but I think for me, Under Siege is probably the best Seagal film. Just because of like how iconic it is. So, let's see. Could Lloyd Kaufman do your 4-part biopic? I think Lloyd Kaufman would probably instruct you on how to get financing. He actually put out you can find this on Amazon, Anthony, many years ago. I think he put out a book, put out a thing called like Make Your Own Damn Movie. And it's like a documentary series about like how to get the funding for your movie and how to make a really low budget movie. I remember renting it from Netflix when it first came out, but I think it's called Make Your Own Damn Movie or something like that. I would go check that one out. Let's see here. Did I ever see James Gunn Super? I did. I really did. I liked it. Stop crime. The only thing I didn't like about that movie was I didn't like Ellen Page. It was so awkward with her. Her and Rainn Wilson had no chemistry in that movie, in my opinion. And then like when she died, I was like, okay, I was like, okay, I'm okay with that. But it was just like, it's not James Gunn's best work. I'll tell you that. I mean, people might go, but Slither. I'm like, yes, no, Slither is really good. For me, I think, I think I'm going to put Slither above that. They might say Guardians or something like that, but I think Slither is really good. I do like the script though he wrote for Scooby-Doo and of course Dawn of the Dead remake. So I love Gunn as a writer. The Belko Experiment was actually that was something he wrote that I liked. I didn't see Brightburn, but he only produced it, and like his brother I think wrote it or something. or Cousins wrote it. I'm not too sure. Best Sam Raimi horror film. Well, if we're talking actual horror, it would be The Evil Dead. You know, because he hasn't really. If you really think about it, Sam Raimi hasn't done that much in regards to actual horror, right? So, I mean, like The Evil Dead was his first one. I don't even know if it was his first one, but like that was the main one he's known for. Evil Dead 2 is, according to Bruce Campbell, the best remake of, or no, the best sequel of all time, but it's also just a comedic remake of Evil Dead. I mean, beat for beat, it's the same movie. It's a better movie. I love Evil Dead Part 2. Dead by Dawn is awesome. I love how it ended. I love how it tied into Army of Darkness. Army of Darkness sure as hell isn't a horror movie. It's an action adventure spent in medieval King Arthur times. You know, I mean, he did Drag Me to Hell, which was a horror film that you could kind of say that was his last one that he directed. What is it? He did A Simple Plan, which is a thriller. He did The Gift, which you could probably argue is a horror, but like I would argue it's more of a thriller. And Katie Holmes' boobs. So there you go on that one. And then he went into doing Spider-Man movies, and he hasn't really gone back to that original since then. So, sorry, Jess. There's a lot of questions here. I'm just kind of run through them. Let's see here. What is more enjoyable, Transformers the movie or G.I. Joe the movie? I mean, Transformers had such a good cast to it, dude. I did like G.I. Joe as well. Do I like Rodriguez as a filmmaker? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I very much do. I've been a fan ever since I saw Desperado back in the mid 90s. I loved Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I loved El Mariachi. The fact he made that movie for $27,000 was a kind of some, you know, as a young filmmaker, kind of, that sounds like just a cliche thing to say, but as a young filmmaker, I loved watching, you know, Rodriguez movies for how he did it, learning his process. He was very open about it. Spy Kids. I mean, he made his money on Spy Kids. He made his money doing family films, and then he would take that money and he would reinvest it into the films he wants to make. You know, Spy Kids, that franchise, I think made like a lot of fucking money. You know, he reinvigorated the Austin, Texas film scene. Him and Linklater. You know, I mean, like look at the technology he did for Sin City in 2005. He's always experimenting with new tech. And that's why I think Alita worked as well as it did, because Cameron was involved. It was his script. It was Cameron's baby. But Rodriguez very much gave a lot of that. You know, he brought his touch to it. But it was two guys who love technology and love looking at things differently for how to film while still being remarkably cutting edge. And I'm a big Rodriguez fan. I've always been a big Rodriguez fan. I mean, you know, hell, I even went to go see Machete, and he directed it, but I think like he only half directed it. Favorite World War II movie? Probably The Great Escape. I love that film. Who do I think deserves the best director Oscar, and who had the most? Who hasn't? Oh, the most, and who hasn't won yet? One best director. I think Nolan would. You know, I don't think Tarantino's won either for best director. I'd have to go back and look. You know, but there's a lot of good directors who I think. It's lame to me. Maybe Denis. I can't pronounce the guy's name. Gary here says Paul Thomas Anderson. Dune 2020 may also be delayed. Yeah, well, I kind of figured that. History's greatest reboot. I'm gonna go with 2004's Dawn of the Dead. I really am. Or that'd be a remake, a reboot. I don't know. I mean, is it kind of the same thing? Does it? I mean, really matter? But I really love Dawn of the Dead. I do. Rodriguez's 2010 Predators was just okay. Well, he didn't direct that. He only produced it. He didn't direct it. So that's again, it's a common misconception. It's like Tim Burton didn't direct the movie 9 in 2009. He only produced it. He also didn't direct Nightmare Before Christmas. Henry Selick did. But a lot of people look at the Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas and they think Tim Burton did it. No, Tim Burton directed Corpse Bride, which came out in '05. And if you compare the two, because they're very similar in their stylings and they're very similar, I think, in many of the same ways, it wasn't as good because, you know, he is a talented filmmaker, but that wasn't, I think he needed a more gifted hand in the animation. Whereas Henry Selick went over to Leica and did Coraline, which is an amazing movie. It was such a good film. I mean, granted, the Coraline book and Neil Gaiman, obviously, but the way it was directed was fantastic. So, you know, like, not everyone can do everything. Like, I mean, you could pay me to write like a big budget superhero movie, but I wouldn't want to direct it because I'm not that kind of director. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't make Man of Steel. I wouldn't be able to do it like that, you know, but I could write Man of Steel, I think, and write some of the same philosophical conversations and have a good, and have a good script. I think I could do that, but I couldn't direct it. Anyway, Machete Kills in Space needs to be made. It does, but it's never going to. Most overrated Tom Hanks movie. Fuck. What is the most overrated Tom Hanks movie? I'm going to say Philadelphia. I just never really cared for Philadelphia. But, you know, I mean, like, he won Best Actor for it, I think, right? Or maybe he won Best Picture. I forget. It won some stuff. I know people might sit there and they go, Forrest Gump. I love Forrest Gump, though. So there's that. Have I seen all of the Leprechaun movies? No, I've seen 1, 2, and 3. And I love 1, 2, and 3. They're terrible, but I love them. Joe versus the Volcano. Joe versus the Volcano is funny. Okay, you have no soul, ever know. Best Jennifer, Aniston, Connelly, or Lopez? Connelly. Rodriguez, Dusk Till Dawn. Thank you. That is, yes, I love Dusk Till Dawn. Tarantino collaborated on the screenplay, produced the movie, was also in it. You got Salma Hayek as, was it Santica Demonica, whatever the fuck her name was? I forget, but like that whole snake scene was great. Danny Trejo as the bartender. You know, I mean, George Clooney, Juliette Lewis, Harvey Keitel, Tom Savini, Richard Roundtree. Was it Richard Roundtree? No, that wasn't Richard. That wasn't Richard Roundtree. That was oh, it's not Shaft. It's the other guy. I forget who the other guy was, but he was good. Did you guys, anyone here ever see From Dusk Till Dawn 2 with Robert Patrick? I rented that movie when it came out. It came out on home video, my 17th birthday. Came out right before this is March 1999. And we rented it and we watched it, and it was, yeah, it's about what you think, but it's not terrible. Let's see here. $2 super chat. Thank you. This just sent you a link. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much, man. Yeah, I'll check it out. Definitely. 100%. Really appreciate that too. Thank you very much. All right. So, okay, guys, I am going to wrap this thing up because I have got to go to the bathroom. I only wanted to be on for 45 minutes, but an hour 45. So you guys got a lot more of me tonight than I wanted to. There's always a lot to talk about. You guys are asking some great Volcano or Dante's Peak. Oh my God, dude. Dante's Peak. The scene where like the grandmother is like pushing the kids on the boat and like she's being like boiled alive from the acidic water coming in from the lake is so fucked up. Volcano was such a just like uproarious concept. You know, ridiculous concept. There's a volcano in Los Angeles. Oh, wow. Tommy Lee Jones and Anne Heche. They have about as much charisma as Anne Heche and Harrison Ford in 6 Days, 7 Nights. Actually, I take that back. I love 6 Days and 7 Nights. So there's that. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this thing up so I can go to the bathroom. Yes, John Joseph Gray IV, total Chad. Appreciate that. Safety, if you want to drop the link to the Discord, you guys can always come in there. I am a lot more active. Where is this at? Where's that? There we go. I'm also on the Facebook group, trying to build that up as well because you get more notifications and not everyone trusts Discord, but you should go everywhere you need to go. And I'll leave that up. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. If you want to catch the replay of this, it will be on the Hollywood After Dark channel, which there's links for that and like all the videos and shit. And I will talk to you guys all later. Have yourself a great night. Thank you again to everybody. Stay cool because it's hot as shit. And peace out.